purpose of. And field, please visualize the Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in front of you, or any other enlightened beings you regard with veneration. They look upon you with immense kindness and unconditional love, just as a mother looks upon her only child. Bodhicitta field, visualize your two kind parents, mother on the left and father on the right. Additionally, you are accompanied by all dear Mother Sentient beings, leaving none aside, and this time you are leading them in the session practice. And the purpose is to awaken the Buddha nature within us by resorting to the ultimate remedy, which is the wisdom of emptiness, complemented by driving force of bodhicitta, the aspiration to become Buddha for the benefit of all dear Mother Sentient beings, and which in turn grounded on renunciation, the practice of four seals, which in turn grounded on the great compassion. By keeping these in mind, we'll recite the verses from page number 3. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Taking refuge and generating bodhicitta. Sangye chodan sogi chonam la chanchu pardo dane gyapsu che dagi chinso gibe sonam ki tola penche sangye dupar sho. Sangye chodan sogi chonam la chanchu pardo dane gyapsu che dagi chinso gibe sonam ki tola penche sangye dupar sho. Sangye chodan sogi chonam la Chanchu pardo dani gyapsu che dagi chinso gipe sonam ki tola penche sange do parisho. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Independent origination, there is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness, and no sameness. Prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme among all teachers, the one who taught this peace which is freed of elaborations. I prostrate to the mothers of the hearers, the Bodhisattvas and the Buddhas, who through the knowledge of all lead hearers seeking pacification to complete those helping migrators to achieve the aims of the world, and who through the possession of omniscience help subduers expound the variety of teachings. The one who has transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings, the teacher, Sugatha, and protector, to you I make prostrations. The one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations and is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and the profound, who eternally shines forth the forever noble light rays, to you, the Buddha, I make prostrations. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. Essence of Dependent Origination Mantra. Om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum tesham tatha gato yavadat tesham chayo nirodha evam vadi mahashamanaye swaha. Om ye dharma हेतु प्रभवम् हेतुं तेषां तथा गतो ह्यवदत् तेषां क्षयो निरोध एवं आदिमहाश्रमणये स्वाहा ॐ ये धर्मा हेतु प्रभव हेतुं तेषां तथा गतो ह्यवदत् तेषां क्षयो निरोध एवं वदिमहाशमनाये स्वाहा All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation of the causes as well is taught by the great seer. Profound, peaceful, elaboration-free, clear light and non-composite. Such is the nectar-like dharma I have discovered. Finding no one who can fathom this teaching, in silence I will retire into the woods. Beyond utterance, thought, and expression, the perfection of wisdom, which is unborn, unceased, and has the nature of space. It is the object of apprehension of self-realized wisdom. So, things all contaminated things, nature phenomena are of the nature of and selflessness. Transcending sorrow is peace. The Guru is the Buddha. The Guru is the Dharma. Like so, everything more. I go by the sound of the vibrant drum of Dharma, liberate always. Beseech kindly remain and give teachings until the end of the expanse of billions of eons. The Buddha does not remove the miseries by his hands. His spiritual realizations are not transferred to them. It is by teaching the truth of the suchness that beings are liberated. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered and misery's gloom. If you're attached to this life, you are not a spiritual practitioner. If you're attached to samsara, you have no renunciation. If you're attached to your own self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If there's grasping, you do not have the view. Please turn to page number 14 for praise to Shakyamuni Buddha. The founder, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the fourth destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in the world, so light of human attained, nature of God and human, you, the and fully awakened, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. When, O Supreme amongst humans, you were born on this earth, you paced out 7 strides, then said, I'm supreme in this world. To you who were wise then, I prostrate, with pure bodies, forms supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 worlds, winner of the best, Lord, to you I prostrate. With a supreme science, face like a spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Dust free like you, the 3 walls are not. Incomparable wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the Founder having all understanding, the field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean, to you the Tathagata I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees us from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality to the Dharma that pacifies, I prostrate. Those who are liberated and also show the path to liberation, the holy field qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you, the Sangha, I prostrate. Do not commit any non virtuous actions, perform only perfect virtuous actions. Subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a visual aberration, a flame of a lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud, see conditioned things as such. Through these merits, beings attain the rank of all-seeing, subdue the four falls, and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness, ended. Please turn to page number 31 for Heart Sutra mantra. Tayatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhi Swaha 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 Tayatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhi Swaha. Thank you. The Peshla, the Bodhicitta verses. Peshla will be.
Okay, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Good. Welcome you all to this Taking the Aspiration Bodhisattva vow. We'll recite this together. Then Shugela, just let us take those 3 verses out. And Shugela, you can show this on the screen. That's better. Okay. So here, every time when we do that, let us make it a point that let's say, let your thoughts flow in the meanings of these words, so precious, and then the experiences. See if you can let flow and invoke the experiences as well to the best you can. And if we can do that, then over time, say like over like 3 years, like 2 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years time, you can feel the change happening. So therefore, the reflection on these verses extremely helpful, beneficial, and particularly by taking some initiatives ourselves as to what they really mean, and that whether it resonates with how I think. If it doesn't resonate now, don't worry. It is true. This is known as the training. So where the fingers may not be sync with the music initially. So music doesn't come, although you put your fingers on the musical instrument. Over time, then you will see the music come out of that. So this is exactly how it happens. If you never do that, if it's just number one, if you never do anything and suddenly you feel like doing Dhamma practice, there's not something which will the mushroom within us are like mushrooms, popping up. It's not like that. And then number two, that even if we engage in some practice, reading and so forth, but if the reflection and the experience is not invoked on a daily basis consistently, then again we see that this realization will not come. So what we do now, try best, just whatever time that we spend, like 3 minutes, 2 minutes, by reciting this and letting the meanings reflected. If you put a little effort, then the same effort that you put for about 2-3 minutes a day, over time you'll see that something beautiful is coming within you, that you become calm and composed. You're not being affected by external factors very easily, and then for no reason your compassion flows. This is a beautiful practice. This is what happens. Okay, with this in mind, let's recite this wholeheartedly together 3 times. Okay, the first stanza 3 times, followed by the next 2 stanzas 3 times, and with the 2 stanzas which follow the stanza, 2 stanzas following that, when you recite it the 3rd time, imagine that you have actually received the aspiration bodhisattva vow. Just feel the joy. These are all the important elements of generating the aspiration bodhisattva bodhicitta within us. Okay, let's begin together. Let's do this together. I go for refuge to the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddhahood in my heart. I go for refuge to the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddhahood in my heart. I go for refuge in the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddhahood in my heart. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as the previous Buddhas have generated the amount of bodhicitta, and just as they successively dwelt in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the amount of bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully follow the Bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as the previous Buddhas have generated the amount of bodhicitta, and just as they successively dwelt in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the amount of bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully follow the Bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as the previous Buddhas have generated the amount of bodhicitta, and just as they successively dwelt in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the amount of bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successively follow the Bodhisattva practices. Okay, particularly with the 2 lines, the 2 end lines, when we said that just as the previous Buddhas, they've generated the amount of bodhicitta, and just they engage in bodhisattva practices. Likewise, I'll also engage in the bodhisattva. I'll also generate bodhicitta, and likewise engage in the bodhisattva practices. When you say that, they say you can bring to recollection the 6 perfections. 6 perfections, and then if possible try to have them on the notes and always ready at hand on a table, wherever, and then try to just enumerate these. Okay, generosity, how many kinds are there? And the ethical discipline, how many kinds are there? And the patience, how many kinds are there? Okay, just go through these divisions. Make sure that you have all these by hearts on your fingertips, and then not only that, see which is difficult for you to practice, which you find it difficult, which you find more difficult, and see around you, people around you. For example, let's say the generosity of, let's say the generosity, the generosity of say the material resources. See, look around you nowadays. The internet era, the digital world today. So from there you can get all this information. Who are good in generosity, right? Just look at the news and all these clips from there, and then you see that what is my state, what is the level where I am. What about this person? What about that person? What about that person who came on the news, who said that where the news said that this person is engaged in, giving things, all his or her earnings of the life, given to charity and so forth. Just see, you appreciate. The moment you appreciate, the moment you rejoice in that, your generosity increases here. This is so precious. And likewise, so that is something very exceptional person. What about your within your family members, within your colleagues at the workplace, who are more generous materially, who are more generous with spending time for others, listening to others' grievances, and then the generosity in terms of, say, the rescuing the life of somebody else, rescuing the life of, say, the animals, like the going through vegetarianism and so forth. Just try to see, and then compare that with you. Okay, what about me? And at times you may feel so demoralized that you may think that you may go to the extent of saying that I'm just a hopeless person. If this is what is happening, then distinguish between you and your stinginess. Distinguish the two. Okay, this stinginess is not me. This is not me. I must not surrender to this. I must not give in to this. Right? So this I have the Buddha nature. I remove the stinginess, and then this once this stinginess, which is temporary, when that is removed, then the true nature of the generosity will manifest fully. So that is the Buddha's generosity. So that will manifest. Just encourage yourself. And whereas by reflecting on the degree of the generosity of others, you're inspired. Okay, I'm not to that level, but this amazing. May I also become one like that? If this is what is happening, very good. You are in the proper direction, and just keep going like this. Keep rejoicing in others, the skill, the art, and the degree of the generosity. Just keep rejoicing, and in your own capacity, what you can do, just continue doing that. Don't think that this is just a small thing, or what difference will it make. Don't think like this. Be it virtue. If it is virtue, be it small. It doesn't matter. We must adopt this, the way we discussed last time, that if it is a diamond, be it small, it doesn't matter. We pick this up. It's a diamond. It's so precious. So likewise, virtue is more important than diamond. Diamond, at the most, it can give you material comfort, but this virtue can give you material comfort as well as mental comfort and the long-term benefit, short-term benefit, long-term benefit. All are given rise to by the virtues. Whereas the diamond can give you only immediate short-term material benefit. That's it. Okay. So with this in mind, it's very important for us to, in our day-to-day life. And finally, we see that all these good qualities, all these 6 perfections, at the core is compassion. Where there's compassion at the core, it's very easy for these 6 perfections to flow. Where the compassion is missing, it's very difficult. You want to do it, you do it with the extra effort. Whereas with the compassion at heart, then these 6 qualities will flow very naturally. Okay, this is what, after learning all these things, we have to, on a practical side, this is how we have to engage ourselves in. So with this in mind, last time we were talking about the patience, the opposite of which is, in fact, this is very interesting. The Tibetan word for patience is supa. And I think in Sanskrit it is translated as, not translated, it is said as shanti. In Tibetan it is supa. In English, people translate it as the patience, but it has multiple shades. Let us keep that in mind. Supa, this Tibetan word supa, has multiple meanings, multiple shades of meaning. Number 1 is patience, the way it's translated as patience. Number 2 is forbearance. Let's say that the bearing the pains, this is like forbearance. And then there's also the element of fortitude. When you speak of the patience, this English word patience is lacking the quality of the fortitude. So it also has the quality, let's say this Tibetan word sepa also has the connotation of fortitude, the fortitude. forbearance. Forbearance is one thing, and then the even stronger would be the fortitude. This is a beautiful word, fortitude. Yeah. So it has all these meanings, and the patience is also one side. Patience, for example, patience is more like, okay, let's say that in terms of time, patience more closely related to it's more time related. Let's say that, okay, the one time, um, somebody said that I've been meditating on bodhicitta, on the emptiness, and then when I meditate is fine, but when I confront with the real life challenges, then meditate emptiness, it doesn't work. I said that, how long you've been meditating emptiness? 20 years or 30 years? And said just 2 years. 2 years meaning for every day you are meditating? Said no, maybe like 5-10 minutes. And that too not every day. I thought it's like 20 years and you're complaining. And then I told the person that if you really want to see the effect of the meditation emptiness in your emotional world, then what you studied from the Bodhicitta retreat, which we conduct almost like every 3-4 times every year in the various places. Nowadays, mostly happening one in Root Institute in Bodh Gaya, and then one in the Vajradhatu Center in Pune, and then one in France. So these are more like stable places, and one in Israel also stable places. So we do the Bodhicitta retreat. So from there, we expect people to be connected to a more systematic studies of Nalanda Master's course, Nalanda Diploma course, and so forth. Okay, so the idea is then I said that what you studied of emptiness in the Bodhicitta retreat, that does not suffice. You have to study more. And then she asked me, how long should I study? What should I study? I said, study Madhyamaka Avatar. And how long should I study? I said, a minimum like 2 years. Then what she said, Ayo. Okay. Then I said, okay, listen to me. You choose between 2 ayos. 2 years ayo or whole life ayo. That you decide. There's no third option. Okay. So basically, there, 2 years. There's a time factor there. Time factor. Okay. Time factor. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I should be patient. So this is a pure patience. This does not involve fortitude. This does not involve some kind of forbearance, but this is more patience. It's not a fortitude. But the word supa, the perfection of perfection of what we call as in English translation patience, that actually has many aspects. Not only patience. Patience is only being able to being able to wait in terms of time, but it also has the element of the fortitude and forbearance. Okay, so these are the nuances that we need to keep in mind, particularly pertaining to the translation. Now, last time we were talking about the practice of patience, or the practice of forbearance, or the fortitude, whatever you may translate it as, the practice of patience. So there's 3 types. Number 1, the patience in bearing the problems, bearing the pains. Number 1. Then so that is more like finished. That's more finished. Number 1. Then number 2 is the patience in the paying no heed to the perpetrator or the harm doer. Okay, pertain to the harm doer. For example, let's say that if there's a thunderstorm, let's say a thunderstorm, which means it's very loud, and then a young child, age 3 or 4, just beating a tin, and then an adult beating a tin. Okay, which will irritate you the most? The thunderstorm? No. Thunderstorm will give in. We'll just run into the house and It's okay, there's a thunderstorm. Oh, this is understandable, it's fine. That's fine. Okay, you may feel a little fear, not irritated. And the young child beating a tin, right, dustbin tin, loudly in front of you, not in front of you, maybe like outside your house. And then at first you may wonder, who's that? And then you hear the sound of this young boy, like a neighbor's. This actually happened this morning. This morning, our neighbor's boy was beating a tin outside, and luckily I heard his the voice. So I said, okay, it's fine. So this motion, I also did the same thing when I was young, so it's permissible. Whereas if it's an adult doing this, then you may go to fight, or you may go to, are you crazy, or are you a small boy, right? So there you feel most irritated with the perpetrator. So somebody you see as in the form of a human being, in a form of some kind of sentient who is harming you. So there, and then say, even though the action is the same, the harm is the same, but you look at the perpetrator. What is that perpetrator like? Is a small child, or just an animal, or let's say a cow? You are on the road, you're on the property, you're on your lane. Okay, let's say in India, you're on the left lane, and the cow comes through the left lane. Then you will not say, hey, go to the right. You will not say that. You will not say that. Then you will turn towards the right, and then you go. You maneuver your path, you go. You understand it. Then if a young child, it's for a group of young child, let's say 2 or 3 young boys, age 4 or 5, coming on your lane, then you may say in a nice way, you have, the cute boys, please turn this way, this is your lane. You may teach. An adult coming on your way, and then you will be very upset, right? You will shout. Okay, this is how our mind, so we feel we're being badly affected, depending on how much we're affected. That is dependent on how we look at the perpetrator. So the point is that when we see the perpetrators, say the tendency is that the anger is there, anger arises. Opposite of patience, opposite of the fortitude is the anger. So this anger, there's a tendency for us for the anger to arise is when you see the perpetrator as like let's say the human being. Within the human being, somebody who is say the matured in age, then you become even more angry. So the point is that this is something that we need to keep in mind. Remember that the patience in by paying no heed to the perpetrator. Here what it means is that the paying no heed, meaning that you don't feel angry towards the perpetrator, refraining your anger pertaining towards the perpetrator. So the question is how number one is why. Once you get the answer to why, then the next question is how. So first, the people will ask, why should I not have anger towards that person? This person is the perpetrator, is the culprit. And then once you give a convincing answer, then the person goes, okay, but still I get angry. So how should I get over it? First how, then first why, and then how. Okay, first why. Why should I control my anger towards that person? The point is that with this anger, what do you want? I want this person to be punished. This person to be taught a lesson. Fine. So if you can teach without anger, that you're happy with this? Yes. Okay. So I want to teach a lesson to this person. Okay. So this lesson you can teach without anger. Okay, that's interesting. So this anger does not have anything to do with you. This anger has nothing to do with teaching a lesson, right? You can teach a lesson without anger, and the likelihood to teach the lesson with anger or without anger is more likely. With anger, when you see that, with anger, you show the anger. You say they do it like this. There's more likelihood that the person will not do it. because that the person senses your anger. It's a very serious there's a very serious consequence of you trying to force somebody on somebody else with your anger. And the person, if the person is weaker, person will do it, but the mentally person will not surrender. Person may physically surrender now, but the person will think of the time to take advantage, look for an appropriate day to retaliate, to take advantage, to take revenge. If the person is stronger, the person will harm you even more. So there, the anger, with the anger, what we are actually thinking of doing is to really say the same with the anger. Somebody who's totally nothing to do with the religion, dharma practice, so forth, I have to teach lesson to this person. Okay, so without anger you can teach. With anger, you have to bear the future consequences. Okay, consequence. This is very important in day-to-day life, real life. Finally, it's about Buddhahood. If not Buddhahood, Nirvana. If not Nirvana, then a happy future life. If not happy future life, at least happy this life. This is what we all wise people should be looking at. We are getting it. We see that they are at least like the 4 goals. The wisest one will be all these 4 goals accomplished, including Buddhahood. If not, keeping aside Buddhahood, then till the Nirvana. If not Nirvana, at least the favorable future lifetime. If not, then at least this life, that you should be happy, that you should not suffer. This is how the wise people should approach. And whereas this anger will destroy everything. For whom? For you. Let us keep this in mind. For example, let's say in a very mundane sense, in a very mundane world, even a wise person in the mundane world, they can sense that this, so this anger really destroys yourself. I'll give you one example. And then you try, it's very important. In fact, what I would say is that it doesn't mean that I don't get angry. It doesn't mean that I don't get angry. Keep this in mind. But let's say that say it becomes more like a controlled anger, like a controlled uranium, like controlled anger. Okay, so I feel a little upset. Okay, no, it's just pointless. It's just pointless. And so now it is more like, to be very honest, it's more like the Dharma practice which I've been teaching, which I've received from my teachers. These are more like coming into my mind naturally. When there's a tinge of anger is coming, then all these thoughts are equally coming. And then, okay, so finally, what do you want? What do you want? I want this person to behave like this. Yes, you can make it happen through some other ways, not necessarily through anger. And then, okay, this is slightly deviation, but it's very helpful. When this anger arises, at times it makes me so happy. So how many of you feel so happy when anger arises? When anger arises? Not happy. Okay, for me, sometimes when anger arises, and then I remember the teachings of my great teachers, and then the Dhamma practice, then suddenly it makes me feel so happy that that this anger arose in me. Not because that I'm so happy with anger, because that it shows me the mirror how weak I am. It shows me the mirror that this is an opportunity, this is a situation which shows me the mirror how weak I am, right? I realize my level of realization, how weak I am. Not because that, oh look, now I'm able to show anger, right? Not because of that I'm happy. I'm happy that I realize how weak I am, right? So it helps me to identify my illness. This is my weakness. Weakness is illness. It helps me identify my illness. wow, I'm so happy that I'm able to identify my illness. For example, let's say these mobiles, these gadgets, when the companies, when they make the gadgets, before they market it, what they do is that they first distribute to some very intelligent young boys and girls. What they do is that for them to operate this and identify any loopholes, any drawbacks of the gadgets. If anybody identifies the mistake with this, you will get paid. You'll be paid because identifying, after making everything, then identifying the mistakes. This is very difficult. Identify the smaller mistakes. This is so difficult. So for that, you need people to do that. One person cannot do it. You need people to do that, and anybody who can identify the mistakes, they will be paid for it. And paid not just with $10. They're going to be paid like $1,000. Just for one small mistake, you're able to identify this, show this to the company will pay you. Just you identify the mistake within like 1 second, you will get $1,000 or $2,000 in some cases. So this is known as quality control. This is known as quality control. You're getting it? So there, I'm so lucky that this situation, this where the person, the perpetrator, irritates me, giving rise to anger, this is like a quality control on me. Quality control me. I thought that I am a Dhamma practitioner. I thought that I'm teaching NDC. I'm teaching the six perfections to the people. But look how weak I am. Look. So it serves as a mirror for me. I'm so lucky. It's like the company owner who's able to who's so happy that a young boy identifies a mistake with your gadget, a young girl identifies a mistake with the gadget, and there's such a quality control happening. You are so happy. The more the flaws you identified with the gadgets, the more the company owner is happy before the marketing. After the marketing, if identified, then the company owner feels sad because the whole business will have to shut down. Before it's put, he throws into the market, more the faults identified or discovered, more happy the company, the CEO is. Okay, this is how it works. Okay, this one thing. Now, with this little digression, but extremely important one. Then with the perpetrator, the point is that finally, what we want, okay, forget about Buddhahood and Nirvana for the time being. What I want is happiness. What I don't want is suffering. And happiness is the result of virtues. And suffering is the result of non-virtues. This is very easy. It's very easy. In a subtle way, there can be, we have to analyze deeper, but on a very gross level, it's very easy. Say you are more compassionate, the happiness, less virtue. Virtue can be represented by compassion. Represented by compassion. It's not that all virtues should necessarily be compassion, no. But virtues can be, like if there is one mind which can represent the virtue, we can say the compassion and the wisdom, these two things. So where the compassion is there, the person's happier. Even the food is very delicious, right? Even the food is very delicious. Where the person has the compassion, the opposite of anger, where the person is just in the grip of anger, even the best of the food available in this world will not taste anything to you. This is reality. So from this simple exercise, we can see that overall speaking, virtue gives rise to happiness, non-virtues gives rise to suffering. This is reality. This is reality. The next question is that, same of the non-virtues, non-virtues, which are the most severe? If the virtue is represented by compassion, compassion means embracing others towards you. Opposite of that must be the representative of non-virtues. What's the opposite of that? The one which pushes others away from you. What is that? Anger. So anger pushes others away from you. Compassion embraces others closer towards you. So when embrace others closer towards you, this is virtue, you are happier. And when you push others away from you, you feel suffocation. In fact, sometimes it's strange. It happens like this. That was the first time that I vividly experienced that was when I was my like early 30s. Early 30s. Okay, at one point, it was so strange. I don't know how many of you had that experience. So strange that I had, okay, a little bit of conflict with person A. All these people closer to me. Person A, they have a little conflict with person A. And because I had a little conflict with the person A, then my mood already gone. And then with the second person, I don't have a good mood, right? So my language is very different. It may not be rough, but then the language is not that beautiful. So the person B thinks, why is very different today? Why is he angry towards me? And the person B starts to show some, the what? The unimpressive face. And then you see it, even you magnify this with the eye lens from the anger. You magnify it, it's very different. Believe it or not, that these are very important observations that I had. Say, when I practice bodhicitta, you wouldn't believe. When I practice bodhicitta, okay, I sit for the bodhicitta practice, meditate on this. Say sometimes like just exclusively on bodhicitta. Of course, there's a routine. But when I've like whole day free, then I just take it like a leisure to meditate on bodhicitta. Sometimes it can be like whole 1 hour, sometimes like 1.5 hours just on bodhicitta. So then after the meditation on bodhicitta, then I look at the statues there, the Buddha statue, all the statues there. I can see them smiling, which is not really the case. I can see them smiling. And then when my mood is off, I look at the statues. They're also very serious statues. Very serious. From there, I concluded that some people may see that the statue smiling. What a blessing. I would say that I'm a very skeptic person. I wouldn't say that this is nothing to do with the statue. It is your outlook. When you're feeling the compassion grows within you, feeling of love and affection grows within you, automatically the lens becomes very clean. When your lens is very clean, from this you can see the Mount Kailash very clean. When the lens is very dirty, you will see the Mount Kailash very dirty. This is guaranteed. So therefore, by no means I would go and tell other people that, oh, I have a blessing that day, I practiced bodhicitta, then all the statues of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they're all smiling at me. No, this is simply because I made my mind a little more compassionate. So this is reflected there. It's not that I'm getting some blessings from there. There's no really, with me. It's not, I cannot generalize for everybody. There are some very the advanced practitioners who the statues really smile, they really start talking. These things are happening. I cannot deny these factors. So we should be very realistic. What is happening to me, that is purely my cultivation of whatever compassion that I practice. From there, then my lens is cleaner. From this, I see things like that way. So this is what I can say. Whereas I cannot, I cannot extrapolate the same thing to other people. Other people can be very realized. I have no comment. Okay. So this is it. Now with this, what we learned here is that after all, I want happiness, and then happiness of varying degrees. To this life's happiness, next life's happiness. Then the freedom from samsara altogether. Then the happiness of the infinite, the joy, which is Buddhahood. There are varying degrees of happiness. And all these degrees of happiness, they are the result of your virtue. And the representative virtue, which I can say, is compassion. Because the teaching of the Buddha all teachings of Buddha, the ground is compassion. Let us not forget this. Whether it is Theravada teaching or the Bodhisattva teaching, all teachings, the ground is compassion. This is what we should not forget. With this in mind, embracing others, this is virtue for your happiness. Push others away from you. This is anger, aversion. This is non-virtue. This attracts your miseries, which you don't want. And if you look at, when does it happen that you push others away from you, right? So where I was sharing something with you, I was in the middle of that. Say you have a little bit of conflict with person A, then with the person B also somehow for no reason conflict happens. Then person C also, D also. All the people around you, you start to have some conflicts with everybody. You feel so suffocated. Okay, how many of you had that experience? Just raise hands. At least once in a while, once in a lifetime. Okay, Pujala, no. Wow, lucky. Okay, all of us, including myself. Yeah, when it happens, what is the experience like? Okay, now I'm so happy, I'm by myself. Or I feel so suffocated. Right? I think of this person, then the next person, same. The third person is just piling up of suffocation. It's so suffocating, right? Okay, why? Because we have, let's say, problems with the people. So what I'm saying is that experience, the worst of the experience of suffocation within us is related to, for example, say, they can be like a natural disaster. It can be with the animals, can be with the child, can be with the adult. So the worst is with the adult. Do you agree with me or not? Yes. Okay. A human being. Not animals, human beings. With the human beings, not the children, adults. Okay. Okay. So from this, what we see is that, okay, my, you're getting it? What I want happiness. And happiness, cause of happiness is virtues. Cause of the miseries is anger, right? And the anger arises worst with a human being, that too adult. You're getting it? So from this, finally, so the other person, there is no excuse. Okay, because of the other person, I have the anger. No, you have the anger, you have the pain. You're getting it? You have the pain, you want the pain, you don't want the pain. So if you don't want the pain, what should you do? You should stop your anger. If you want to stop the anger, what should you do? You should not feel angry towards the agent, which can most likely create anger in you. Who's that? The human beings and the adults. You're getting it? That is known as the perpetrator. Now, look, okay, this is a major problem. No way. Why should not have anger towards that person, anger towards this person? That's fine. It's not about you having anger towards that person or not person, right? This is from one side that you have to. Now, on the other side, good news. Okay, how many you want to listen to the good news? Or how many you want to hear this good news? Okay, the good news is that I will give you a tip whereby all your future problems will be taken care of. How many of you are going to embrace it? Okay, you all want to embrace it. I'll give you one tip, right? One tip, it can be difficult, but this will take care of all the future problems. You're getting it? Otherwise, this problem, the major problem that you're going to have in this life, will repeat every life. It will repeat. Now, I'll give you a tip whereby this problem will be severed in this life, as well as the rest of the life, you can just relax. Okay, how many of you are ready to do that? You're very good. Okay, so just learn how to stop anger towards this particular person in this life. You learn this, particularly this person who is a human being, who is adult, right? Who is adult, and who, that they say, if you learn how to stop anger towards this person, then in the future lifetimes, all those, the perpetrators, all those evil people, they are not more evil than this person, right? If you learn how to stop the anger towards this person, in that future lives, you meet anyone. These are all like small children games. You can tackle them very easily. You're getting it? What is your next question? Anybody? So I told you that we have to, if we learn how to stop anger towards this particular person in this life, throughout the future lifetimes, your problems are all taken care of. You will not have any more of these problems in the future, right? All these problems are taken care of. Okay, so this is what I'm telling you. Now tell me, what would be your next question? Anybody?
How,
Okay,
Geshala?
okay, Sonia, say it again.
It was me. How,
Who?
Geshala?
Who said
Tripti.
it?
Tripti.
Tripti, yes, tell me. How?
How?
Or just chart?
Also, my question would be also how.
How? Then Sonia? Okay, that's good. Now the Nalanda diploma course, the participants, you already learned the skill of asking the question, precise question. How? Very good. This is very important. This is very important. Okay. The one, right? First, okay, why don't you feel angry towards the small child? Anybody? As much as how you feel angry towards the adult. Okay, Gayatri ji?
Because it comes out of the innocence.
Okay, it comes out of there. Of course, intentionally he's beating it.
But
intentionally he's beating. Huh?
But it comes out of the innocence and not out of any kind of a kind of a bias or anything
No,
like that.
if the mother says, if the look, Gayatri ji, if the mother says, hey, don't do it, he'll do more. Right? It's not innocence. Anybody? Anybody? Tripti ji?
Geshala, it's because you identify with that child and say, I also did this. So it's okay. You forgive what you yourself did.
Okay, this is one very important point. What Gayatri ji says, innocence is also there. Very good. Abelardo?
Because one assumes that the child does not have so much control.
Okay, child does not really have a control. Very good. Anybody else? Massimo?
He's still in the phase of learning. Is developing his personality.
Very good. He's still in the phase of learning. Learning means that he doesn't know. He doesn't know. He doesn't know. He has to learn more. Very good. Anybody else? Very good. Okay, we got the answer. You know, you put them together, we get a complete answer. Very good. Now, this person, human being, number one. Number two, adult, right? Number two, adult. Okay. And particularly age above like my age, 50, very matured, right? Age-wise, very matured. Mentally, maybe very still baby. But physically, very mature, right? He said it. He did it like this. Okay. Even he, why he's behaving like this? Why he's behaving like this? Why she's behaving like this? Because of the immaturity of the mind. Even he or she has to go through long way learning process. Long way. If this person's mind has developed to the level of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, you will go to prostrate to him. You're getting it? He will not behave like this. He will not behave like this. Why he is behaving like this is that he is far away from becoming one like His Holiness the Dalai Lama. There's so many more things for him to learn, like what Massimo said, that there's so many things for him to learn. You keep this in mind. He is a baby. It's a very toddler. We're keeping in mind not just one life, keeping in mind they say the space, the what, the massive time, like 100 lifetimes, 10 lifetimes, or 1,000 lifetimes. From that point of view, he is just a tiny toddler, very immature. This is one thing that we can keep up. Okay, then this is one thing. If you think like this, then oh, that's true, right? Why I'm not feeling so angry towards the child? Because the child has to learn a lot. Because he is so immature. He's not mature, he's just a child. So therefore, the Buddhist texts, they refer to the samsari beings as childlike. This is a beautiful the presentation, how they describe the samsari beings, the childlike beings, childlike samsari beings, because they are totally immature in your thinking. Number one. Then number two, this is very important. Number two, okay, say if child A says, if there's a fight between your two children, children A tells, the child A tells child B that you're stupid, and the child B comes with a knife, right, and stabs the child A, of course not killed. Then you as the mother or you as the father say how would you make the judgment, right? You will say the child B you have done, then child B said that because he said that I'm stupid, right? If he did not say this, I would not do it. I would not have done it. Now who's to be blamed? Tell me, who's to be blamed? No one person is to be blamed 100%. You're getting it? Because both are responsible. Both are responsible. Because the person A unnecessarily said that you are stupid. And who will be happy to say that oh yeah, I'm stupid, you're so kind? Who will say that? Everybody will feel offended. So when offended, then the person will resort to some other means to make the other person feel offended. Right? So therefore you will say that both are wrong, but the B is too much that you take the knife. You're getting it? But you will say that both are wrong. Likewise, okay, let's all take out 2 hands. 2 hands, and then do what I'm doing. Okay, it's very simple. It's like a small child's exercise, right? The sound came out. The sound of clap came out. This is because of 2 hands. You're getting it? So the other person's there, the perpetrator, and you are there. Other person doesn't like you. There must be a reason within you. You are there. If you are not there, in place of you, if there is the person's favorite son or the daughter or the brother or the sister or the father or mother, that person will be very happy rather than doing harm to you, because you don't represent like this. You come with the different the features, then you create 1 hand, and the other person immaturity is also another hand. These 2 hands come together, then the sound erupts. Whereas if you come with the Dalai Lama as a Dalai Lama, then the other person had the hand, but your hand is not there. The person's hand will not give rise to this sound in your mind. The sound of clap. For the sound of clap, any sound of clap within you, any irritation within you should necessarily is because of the 2 factors, external factors and the internal factors. Internal factors are invariably there when any irritation happens to you. I'm saying this again. Any irritation happens to you. For example, myself. Say when somebody it is purely according to mundane convention, it says, oh, this is the other person's mistake. But if the irritation is within you, within me, I can say that there is a contribution of my internal factor, self-centered attitude. Self-centered attitude, I can see this within me. So therefore, I told you that when this happens, irritation happens, sometimes I'm so happy. It doesn't mean that the irritation comes, then happiness comes. No. Irritation comes, then I come to realize that this is my achievement to identify my weakness. I've achieved something today. I'm growing today. I've got an opportunity to grow because I can see my weakness. Only if you identify your weakness, only then you can cure. Say if somebody has a very consistent fever, loss of appetite consistently, then what will the doctors do? Two things. One is the doctor will try to subside your immediate fever, but with the paracetamol or the painkillers, the pain will subside for some time. But again, it will come out. It will come up. Okay. So this is one thing the doctor does. Then the number two the doctor does is what? Anybody? What will the doctor do? If the doctor sees that you have a consistent, the fever, loss of appetite, and so forth, one is the doctor will try to subside the immediate problems, symptomatic problems. Other thing, what will the doctor do? Anybody? Raise hands. Abelardo?
Doctor will identify and address the causes of that.
Okay. Jyoti? I cannot hear you. Still we cannot hear you. Okay, never mind, Jyoti ji. Okay. Okay, Chad, you raise your hand.
I also would say he would search for the causes of the fever.
Okay, so I would agree with, I'm sure Jyoti will also say the same thing. I'm sure all of you will say the same thing. That you will check what exactly is the illness. What is the illness? Is that tuberculosis? Or is that meningitis? Or what is that? You will try to identify the testing. You do all the blood tests. You do all the blood tests to check what is the real problem. You're getting it? Okay. So when who's a good doctor? Who's able to diagnose, to make the proper diagnosis? Or who will just give the medicine for all the ailments? The one who can do the exact diagnosis, that is a good doctor. You're getting it? So therefore, say that when irritation comes within you, and then you say, wow, this is a weakness within me. Again, look at self-centered attitude. So I'm able to diagnose this illness so precisely. So if you meet with a very precise doctor, you'll be happy or not? You'll be very happy. So I'm very happy to identify that precisely, that the self-centered attitude is now creating a problem with me. I identified that. I'm so happy. So once the diagnosis is made so accurately you made the diagnosis, then you can give the medicines and problem will be over. So you can expect to get into your problem through making a proper identification. So now these are the opportunities that this person is so kind, this perpetrator, the human being, the adult, is so kind to help me identify my illnesses of self-centered attitude. I'm so happy that this person helped me to identify my illness. Once I remove this illness of the two hands, one is gone. Then the other perpetrator is there, no sound. No sound of irritation within you. All your problems throughout your future lifetimes will be cut. No matter how severe you will encounter with the difficult people in the future lifetimes, your mind will never be irritated. You are forever freed from these problems. This is incredibly precious. So who gave you the opportunity? This person in this life. This person serves as a doctor to help you identify this illness within you. That is so precious. Okay, so if you see a diamond, will you throw this, or you will, if the diamond pricks if the diamond on the floor, and you just walk, and then something pricks your feet, and you discover it's a diamond, will you feel angry, or you will feel very lucky? It pricks you, it hurts you. But when you discover it's diamond, you'll be so happy. You're getting it? So likewise, this person pricks you, that there's irritation there. But then you discover that this person is like a doctor, very precise expert doctor, who helps to identify your problem and who helps to remove all your problems in the future. Like the diamond, who helps to remove all your poverty throughout the life. You feel so happy that you found the diamond which pricked your feet. You're so happy. So then What do you do with the diamond? It pricked you, although you're a diamond, but I don't care. I'll throw you. You'll throw it or you'll keep it. You'll keep it. You're getting it? Likewise, this person, you'll see as a piece of diamond, which pricked you, but at the same time, it's going to remove all your problems in the future. This person is so precious like a diamond, you will cherish the person. You're getting it? You will cherish. This is incredibly beautiful practice. Okay. This is one way of thinking. So in other words, these are the reflections we have to constantly do. And then finally, you have to go deeper to see that how these problems arise. All these problems, how they're coming into being is through in the dream. Dreams, that is on a very subtle version. Okay, given that you are all doing another diploma course and many of you also doing another master's course, so I'm sharing these sophistications with you. So now this is something which I would otherwise not share with them, just 10-day teaching, 4-day teaching, 2-day teaching like this. So for you, this is very important because that you are doing systematic studies. There's a tendency for you to understand it. Okay, let's say in the dream. In the dream, you go through, say, the tension, anxiety, a little bit of the spurt of happiness and so forth. These things happen. So there are two things happening there. There are many things, but then we can bring them all into two. One is that the dreaming mind, which creates all these varieties. Say you must be sleeping in a tiny bedroom, without any sophistication there, right? With no buildings, with no trees, no gardens, no waterfalls. A tiny bedroom. You are sleeping there, and then in that, and then you start dreaming. You dream of the waterfalls, beautiful. What is that? The Canada waterfall. What is that known as? Beautiful waterfall there. The Canada. Niagara Falls, beautiful falls there. Then you see the Taj Mahal. Then you see all the beautiful things, cars, hundreds, thousands of cars there. You see all these things. Okay, so who creates all these things? Your mind created this. Okay, are you interested in Niagara Falls? Some of you are interested, some of you are not interested. Right? Some of you, it's so boring. Again, waterfall. Right? Some of you, wow, it's so nice. So in both cases, whether you like it or not, somebody has created that. Somebody's created that. It is not there. In your bedroom, there's no Niagara waterfall. But somebody created that. Who's that? Your dreaming mind created this. Then the second one is your passion. Your passion comes in. Oh, I like it for all these years. I've been hearing about the Niagara Fall. Now it's actually happening. You're getting it? The passion. And somebody says, yeah, I always saw this television. It's very boring. Rather, I would, have another 1 hour sleep sleep. You're sleeping actually. You're getting it? But you may say, rather I would have 1 extra hour sleeping rather than going around this Niagara Fall. So some people don't have the passion. Some people have the passion. Those who have passion will have attachment to it. Those who don't have passion, who dislike it, will be averse to it. You're getting it? So the element of the passion comes in. The first, the creation. There's no Niagara Fall in your room, but something inside your mind created this, number one. After creating this, then the passion comes in. 2. Likewise, this world that you see around, exactly. 1, there's somebody who's creating all these things. Who is that? Self-grasping ignorance. Self-grasping ignorance creates all these what you're seeing, number 1. Then the self-centered attitude comes as a passion. Oh, I like this, I don't like this. All these selections happen by the self-centered attitude. Okay, so from this, when you see that finally, instead of I say, I like this, I don't like this, why not you say, I like all the sentient beings? If you say, I like all the sentient beings, then your aversion stops. Aversion is the representative of the non-virtues. Non-virtue stops. Your misery stops. And the virtue, the representative compassion. You embrace all. I love everybody. So there is compassion. And this compassion represents virtue. Virtue becomes infinite. With the virtue become infinite, you have the infinite happiness. This is what is happening. So there, now you have to say discard. I don't like that person. I like everybody. So for that, how to do that? Again, the next question is, how can I do that? I love everybody. If you learn how to love the worst of the enemy, you will love everybody. How to make love you? How to make you love the worst of the enemy? To see the enemy as a piece of diamond which pricks you, but the diamond to relieve you from all your hunger throughout your life. It's a piece of diamond which pricks you now, but if you tackle it nicely, this enemy can be a great opportunity for you to get rid of all your miseries in the future lifetimes. So that's like a diamond. So with the diamond, no doubt you'll embrace. If you learn how to embrace this person, you will easily embrace everybody else. This is known as infinite compassion, unconditional love. This is so precious. Okay, so this is this is how we can manage our say the emotion of anger towards the perpetrator. So with this is what is known as the practice of the patience, of paying no heed to the perpetrator. Okay, good. Then the last one is the patience towards the profundity of the dharma. Patience towards the profundity of the dharma. Okay. Okay, what happened was that, okay, let's say that okay, let's say that how many of you in your life you have experienced, let's say that the house, it's a very beautiful house, right? It's a very beautiful house. Or let's say a dam, a huge dam, what a majestic dam, right? Or a huge tall building, skyscraper, beautiful. Okay, then just imagine that if I'm the builder of this majestic, huge castle, the old style castle, majestic ones, if I'm to be the builder, just think of that. Okay, then I have to say put one brick. How many bricks there? Hundreds, thousands, millions of bricks there. Time involved, right? When you can see the massiveness of the task involved, you just feel demoralized. You just feel deflated. No way. Okay. So nowadays, house, what is that? Okay, particularly in the West, they have some of the systems. They're like hold one side of the wall, just bring in a crane and put it there, and one side is finished. And then the next side. So this is like this. And then yesterday, when I was there, with the plumber who was fixing the pipeline, water pipeline, and then he had to drill from the wall, and from the wall, the outside wall was like the proper wall, and then outside the wall they put the stone slabs, very tiny stone slabs for aesthetic purposes, and then he broke one or two of those stone slabs, and I was just observing, just watching it. And then they after drilling this, then he was putting the tiny the stone slabs back to from where it was broken. And then I see that I just saw this tiny, just like this size, very tiny, like 5 inches in length and 1 inch width and 5 inches in. Then whole building was put like this, tiny, one by one. Just imagine this. I just felt overwhelmed. No way. You're getting it? When I see the massiveness of this hard work involved there, then say the one time, this is about the material thing. Okay, did it ever happen to you? Anybody? With external things where you see the massiveness, the amount of the work involved, and then you feel so overwhelmed. Did it ever happen to you? Is there anybody? Okay, Elroy, yes. Okay, the Divesa, yes. Gayatri, yes. Okay, Jyoti. Okay, most of you, wonderful. Yeah. In fact, we should be good observant of the world around us in our life. If you're observant, everything will be dharma. You're getting it? All what I'm teaching you, actually we can see this in a real life, right? Everything can be seen as a dharma. This is so precious. Okay. Then one time, now with the dharma, with the knowledge, dharma. So what we're saying is the patience to the profundity of the dharma, right? So one time in Dharamsala, when His Holiness was giving teaching, and after the teaching, I was doing the review session for the English speakers. And there was one, who was that? I think Vietnamese monk. And at the end of the talk, the Vietnamese, one of the Vietnamese monk, young one, he came to me. He must be doing some studies in the Indian universities. And how I explained during the review, I explained things in a very simple way. Then he said, "Oh, this is it. This is my teaching. It's very simple." Then I said yes. And then next time, he came to me, and I deliberately made it very complicated. Then next time he came to me, that Kishila is impossible. I can understand it. It's very difficult. You're getting it? So what I'm saying is that, say the dharma, say particularly emptiness, say look at His Holiness the Dalai Lama. He is extremely sharp and intelligent, and then he has been into this study, reflection, meditation every day, and after like 60, 70 years of his journey into this emptiness, still he says that I have not realized emptiness. And then Nalanda diploma course, if you go into Nalanda master's course, and if I teach the Acharya Chandragiriti's text, and then Acharya Dharmakiriti's text, or Nagarjuna's text, and then the Bodhisattva Shantideva's all together, then you will, for sure, you will give up. Right? You will give up. Impossible. It's so far, so deep. There's no way by which I can delve into it. Okay. So this is what is meant by when you get some glimpse of emptiness, to realize that it is so profound that it'll take so much of time, number one. Then number two, the sharpness involved. My mind has to be sharpened. And of course, our mind can be sharpened. This is true. As we study like this, constantly we are sharpening our mind. It's not that some people are more sharp, some people are less sharp. This is not the point. Yes, there is a variation. Some are more sharp. Even the less sharp people, they can sharpen to the level of the others who are sharp. We can do that. So for that, the thing is that we should have so when you see that it's so fast from I just show a picture. Oh, this is universe. It's just like, let's say, the A4 size paper. Or universe in A4 size paper. That's fine. That's fine. Then I tell you, where is the Milky Way galaxy? I just point to a tiny dot. This Milky Way galaxy. Okay, fine. If this Milky Way, then where is the solar system, right? Then I'll give you a bigger picture of the Milky Way galaxy. Okay, this tiny dot that I'm pointing you, this is let's say this paper, this Milky Way galaxy. Within the Milky Way galaxy, I just point to a very tiny dot which you can hardly see. This is solar system. Okay. Okay, now where is the planet Earth? Then I say again, I point out that tiny, again on the end of the sheet, and then I point a very tiny dot there. This is a planet Earth. Now this tiny dot within this paper is a tiny dot in this paper. This paper is a tiny dot in this paper. Then you just feel overwhelmed. You're getting it? Some people who can really envision this, they really feel overwhelmed. At times they feel very low, that I'm just an insignificant thing in this universe. If this is what can happen to you, which means that you have a special ability to be able to see the broader universe into a tiny scale. In a tiny scale, you can see this whole universe there. When you see that, then where are you? You cannot really see in this tiny scale. Okay, so likewise, the wisdom of emptiness and the dharma is so vast and very profound. When you're able to imagine, we could really envision what the whole dharma is like, what the profundity of dharma is like, and the 5 layers of emptiness. If the first layer is very sophisticated, complicated, then what about the fifth? Then you may feel overwhelmed. So the overwhelmed means you are on the verge to give up. Don't give up. Be patient. This is known as the patience of the profundity of the dharma. Okay. And say particularly with the wisdom of emptiness, when some people, when they get a glimpse of the emptiness, is very scary, and then you are on the verge to give up. Hey, don't give up. Don't be scared. Okay, don't be scared. Be patient. Be patient. Just keep doing this, and this fear will transform into a very profound tranquility. You're getting it? This fear of seeing the emptiness can be transformed into an extremely profound tranquility which you have never experienced before. Okay, so this is where we need the patience of bearing the profundity, the profound meaning of the dharma, particularly the wisdom of emptiness. Okay, yes. Then this is about the 3 kinds of the patience. And okay, before we close to question answers, one thing that I'd like to share with all of us is that the patience, opposite of the patience is anger. Anger. And okay, how many of you have the experience of anger? Raise your hands. Pujala, no anger? Okay, all of us. Okay, let us keep in mind. Okay, when you are angry, just raise your hands. When you're angry, you gain some strength. Where otherwise you will not say something, you just dare to say this. Otherwise you don't dare to do something, you dare to do it. Okay, how many of you get that strength? Raise your hands with anger. Okay. Okay. Let us keep it in mind. Anger is not a sign of strength. Don't forget it. We tend to get a strength. It is a stupid strength. Anger is not a sign of strength. It gives you a false impression. Say, for example, a child, when angry, will dare to break all the things in the house. Then after breaking the mobile, laptop, all these things, then the online class, no online class, right? Then the child will not be able to go to the shop and bring the laptop. Again, go towards the mother, mom, I need a laptop. Dad, I need a laptop. If this is a strength, be strong. Even after breaking it, be strong. Right? Be strong. Get a better laptop from somewhere else. No, again you have to surrender. Mom, I'm very sorry. When you become sane, then your behavior is very different. Which means that when you're not sane, what you're doing is the crazy, insane work of insanity. This is a sign of weakness. So anger is never a sign of strength. Keep this in mind. Anger is a sign of weakness. And how do we know this? How do we know this? I'll give you another example. Say, to whom can you show anger more easily? Towards your mother or towards your school principal? Towards your principal, towards your boss? To whom you can show anger more easily? Tell me, raise hands. Towards your mother, very easily, right? Mother says, my daughter, come on time. Again, you just start shouting at her. My son, come on time today. Can you please bring my medicine? What? I have so many things to do, right? To your mother, you are like a tiger. Towards the boss, you are like a cat. This means that, look, why? Because boss, you're afraid. Mother, you're not afraid. You're getting it? Afraid means you're weak. So you cannot show anger. When you show anger towards somebody, which means that you behave like a very ordinary person. This is how the ordinary people do. To a stronger person, you cannot show anger. To a weaker person, you show the anger. You show strength. This is how ordinary you are. Who is strong? Ordinary person or a wise person? Ordinary person, a wise person is stronger, right? How many people, when they get the opportunity to abuse somebody, show anger towards somebody, will refrain from anger? It's so less. It's so less. So if you can do something which the majority of the people cannot do, you are strong. If you do something which the majority of the people can easily do, this is you're weak. If you cannot do something which the less number of people can do, majority of people cannot do, you are the weak person. So therefore, showing anger towards a mother, this is what majority of the people can do so easily. So this is your weakness. And the wise people, very wise, extremely wise, composed people, if they have to show anger, they will show anger towards somebody who really behaves badly, not towards your mother, not towards the person who really took the initiative to make you who you are today. When you're age 1, 2, 3, 4, who said that, Mom, don't worry, today I'll take care of myself? Who told this to the mother? When you were aged 1, 2, 3, 4, just raise your hands. Anybody who's told to mother, today please, Mom, you take a break. I'll take care of myself. Who said it? Nobody. You're getting it? This is how this mother raised you, with so much of love, affection. Now you are showing anger towards that person who gave you the maximum love. And you cannot show anger towards that person who's nasty and who's now abusing you or who is making you putting you into trouble. You cannot show anger towards that person. You are showing anger towards that person who loves you the most. That is the easiest. So that is known as the ordinary people, weak person. So in short, anger is a sign of weakness. Anger is never a sign of strength. Whenever we show anger, including myself, not only you, whenever anger arises, keep in mind that, look, now I'm proving myself as a weak person. If there is somebody, the Buddha's Bodhisattvas, if they see me, they will see that, oh, indeed, Dorji is weak. Look, he's weak, she's weak. Let's not forget this. Whenever anger arises, just remember that if any sensible person sees me, they will see the poor guy, poor boy, poor girl. Now look, she's proving herself to be weak. He's proving himself to be weak. Remember that. Remember that. This will greatly help you to calm down your anger. In the absence of anger, whatever you like to do, you can do it effectively. With the anger, you cannot do things effectively. Anger is a sign of weakness. Let us never forget this. Do those things. If you really want to, each one of us, we want to prove ourselves to be somebody, right? Each one of us, including myself, we want to prove that I'm somebody, right? If somebody says that you are just nobody, right? No, I'm somebody. We all like to prove somebody as somebody. So when we go in public, yeah, we dress up nicely. Why we dress up nicely? To tell the world that I'm not just an ordinary person. I'm as equal as you are, if not better. But I'm somebody. I'm not nobody. I'm somebody. If you really want to prove yourself as somebody, right, the best way by which to prove there's somebody, the wise way of proving yourself as somebody is do something which the ordinary people cannot do. You do it, and this is the best way by which to prove that you are somebody. And what is that thing? Controlling anger. Ordinary people can give in to anger very easily. You try to stop this, you are proving yourself somebody. This is the greatness. All the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they will be so happy to say that there's somebody here. Whereas if you cannot control this, however rich you are, however powerful you are, however the very effective, successful the family members you have, these will not count as you as somebody. This is so important. Okay, let us not forget these points. Yeah. Okay, good. Any questions? One or two questions before we stop here? Massimo?
Yes, Yeshala. I understood the concept of patience. You made a lot of examples with how to bear patience against versus people who's bothering me or group of people bothering myself. But while thinking in a social context, I can see a lot of violence, genocides, terrorism, terrible violence against people or weak people. How can I be patient versus these people? And could this patient lead to a sort of inertia? And is this inertia? So not doing anything. Yes, I just is it useful when dealing with the society? How can I behave in order to change the society when I see these terrible things?
Okay, Massimo, thank you. Thank you so much. This is a very practical question. Say the patience in the context of the individual, patience in the context of the community. Okay, on a larger context of the community, where's the cultural genocide happening, where's the bully happening, and then where there's terrorism happening. How can I be like a patient, staying back? Okay, patience. Then it can turn into inertia, meaning that it can become like a, the like insensitive to what is happening there. Okay, so therefore now all of you will notice now here what Massimo is bringing up here tells us why, the reason why I said that the word patience is not the complete translation of this word. You're getting it? Patience and fortitude. I also said fortitude. What is fortitude? We must take the challenge. We must take the challenge. Let us not let these, they say the evil people or the evil group to take over the whole community. Let us not. And you will have problems. You will face problems. Never mind, I will have fortitude. You're getting it? So therefore this word, Sopa, should not be confined to patience. Patience has the meaning of, I told you, time. Waiting in time. Let the time flow. So this is exactly where we can see the demerit in translating this word just as patience, sopa as patience. You're getting it? It also has the element of the fortitude. Fortitude means to take the challenge. In the process, you are bound to face with difficulties. When difficulties are there, have fortitude. Bear it and keep going to fight for the cause. You're getting it? This is so important. So therefore, I'm not really happy to see that this word sopa is translated as patience. Keep in mind the three classifications of the patience. So the point is that when these things happen, we must somehow directly or indirectly somehow be involved to stop the injustices. We must. This is a problem. This is a problem the current world is facing. Okay, I don't want to go too much into the politics. Yeah, luckily this is not Zoom. Yeah, it is WebEx. If it's Zoom, then this will be cut. All our problem, this whole problem will be cut. So the point is that, say, just recently, there are so many voices coming out. Tibet independence, Tibet independence. We are not saying anything, and all the groups, the different groups, they are talking Tibet independence, Tibet independence. What is that? Because they know the fact, but they remain silent for the last 60, 70 years. Because they cannot foresee the challenges which the world is going to face after 70 years. They could not foresee this problem. Because of this, they remain silent. Although knowing the fact, they remain silent for 60, 70 years. Now, when the problem, the whole world crisis is coming out so evidently, then everywhere is saying friendship with Tibet, Tibet independence, all these are coming up. This is where why the people remain silent for the last 70 years. Why? Is it because they did not know the facts? No, they knew the facts already. So simply they do not have the fortitude. They have the patience to wait and see. But they do not have the fortitude to speak courageously. Fortitude has the element of the courage. Courage means daring to face the challenge, take the challenge. So therefore this word, cannot be, the best would be we look for some other word. It should the element of the fortitude as well as the patience, as well as the forbearance. All these three elements should be there within it. Just translate it as patience, they cannot convey the whole meaning. Thank you, Massimo. Okay, okay, Gayatri ji.
Venerable Geshala, I wanted to ask you that, and as our best beings of our best teachers, can samsara also be treated as the best teacher, so that my prarabdha karma, janma karmas, I'm able to finish them in this life?
Okay, this is a good question.
Can I treat it as the most precious experience? Terrible experience becomes the most precious experience, so that I'm able to finish with this karma.
Okay, this is a good question. Thank you. Oh my God. Okay. This is a good question. Thank you so much. Let's say we all learned the 5 points: samsara or suffering, contaminated karmas, afflictions, anyone, inappropriate attention, self-grasping ignorance. The 5 points. Okay, don't pretend as though like you never heard of these 5 points. All of us, we heard it so many times. You're getting it? The 5 points. From the 5 points, what we said, all these sufferings are because of contaminated karmas. So what Gayatri is saying is that if you can exhaust all these karmas, then suffering will automatically stop. So why not we think of, exhausting all these karmas? We feel grateful to the samsara. The samsara helps me exhaust these contaminated karmas, and then I'll be freed. Okay. Let us say that you must have heard the episode, a cooked up episode, not a real episode, cooked up episode. That is that I live in, let's say, to make it very simple, that I live in a house. I live in the 4th floor, and then the house in the summer very hot, no moisture from the outside, very hot and dry summer, but my house there's so much of moisture, and because of which I have asthma problem, breathing problem, asthma problem. And then what I see every morning, I see that the table is wet, windows are wet, and then what I do is that I wipe. This asthma is because of this the mosses that grow on this moisture, and I clean this up. If I clean this up completely, then my problem will solve. Yes, that's true. I clean this completely today. Tomorrow, again, new moisture comes out. New moisture comes out. Okay. So what will you advise me? Anybody? What will you advise me? I'm on the fourth floor. It's a dry summer, and every day there's some moisture coming out on the table, everywhere. And because of the asthma problem, and Gayatri told me that remove the water, remove this moisture, then your asthma problem is solved. I removed it completely. I hired all the Tibetan staff. They helped me remove it today. And tomorrow again I have the asthma problem. Well, again new moisture is coming out. Why? What will you advise me? Anybody? Anybody? Except for Gayatri ji. Huh? Anybody who would advise me? Okay, okay, Zalina.
You can get a dehumidifier.
Okay, dehumidifier. Yes. Okay, dehumidifier. But dehumidifier, I use one day or I have to use every day? Every day.
Every day, yeah.
Okay, every day. When the dehumidifier breaks down, then it's going to be locked down. Then what should I do? Okay. Okay, anybody? Any other advice? Zalina, thank you. Any other advice? Tenzin Zambala? Okay, I cannot hear you. Okay, there's no voice. I cannot hear you. Okay, anybody? Anybody else? Okay, the Elroy.
Or open the window. Let the heat
Okay,
come in.
open the window. Yes. Okay, open the window. Very good. Anybody else? Very quick. Okay, anybody? Okay, stands it up. Yes.
Shall see that if there is some leaks or something in the wall, in the pipes?
Okay, just first check if there's a leakage happening. Leakage happening. Okay, because it's a dry summer and you are in the dry summer, there can be no rain pouring in. And because it is on the fourth floor, there is no groundwater coming out. So there must be some problem with the drainage system or the water pipe. Just if there is any leakage. Oh, yeah, there's one leakage there. What should I do? I block this. I stop it. Then everything will become dry. You're getting it? So the wetness in the house, this is the immediate cause of my asthma. This wetness is because of this leakage. You're getting it? Because of this leakage. So our miseries are because the immediate cause contaminant karmas. Contaminant karmas, the immediate cause is afflictions. As long as afflictions are there, constantly new contaminant karmas are created every day. Even though you want to remove the contaminant, exhaust the contaminant karmas, new contaminant karmas constantly going to be created. So therefore, say the Buddhism emphasizes more on cutting the root of the contaminant karmas, whereas Jainism focuses more on removing the contaminant karmas. You're getting it? Jainism emphasizes more on removing the contaminated karmas, purifying the contaminated karmas, whereas Buddhism emphasizes more and purifying the causes of the contaminated karmas, afflictions. This is different. Where the major emphasis, otherwise Buddhism also purifies the negative karmas, Jainism also purifies the afflictions, but the emphasis, Buddhism emphasizes on removing the afflictions, Jainism emphasizes more on removing the karmas. Okay, so the point is that they say we have to put efforts to remove the contaminant karmas, exhaust contaminant karmas. Meanwhile, try to work to get rid of the afflictions also. Yeah. If you don't remove the afflictions, then from the afflictions, contaminant karmas continuously they come out. Good, thank you, Gayatri ji. Any more questions? Maybe one. Okay, Abelardo ji. Abelardo.
Geshe, I have an example. 2 days ago, the news, I was watching the news at 1 p.m. Every day there's news about the pandemic in Costa Rica. And we went up to 1,000 cases, which is a lot for a small country like us. Then I got a call from a friend who's in Florida, USA, and she started talking to me about someone in her home here in Costa Rica who got contaminated by the virus. And I listened, but then I started getting very restless, and I said, please don't talk to me. But I said it irritated, and then, but it was too late. I was already angry. I said, stop. You don't even ask me, how I am. And so my question is, I realize now from today's lesson that I was fearful. So how can one deal with one's fear in that situation? I know that it has to do with self-grasping ignorance, but I'm not trained yet in mindfulness, wisdom of emptiness. So how
Okay,
to deal with fear?
Abelardo, thank you so much for being extremely transparent, sharing your experience. This is what almost all of us go through. Almost all of us. If this is what happens to each one of us, that, oh, my family in, say, in Delhi, my family, the next door neighbor is with coronavirus. Again, another friend of you again calls you. This is what is happening. Now my next door neighbor also has this. Almost like in one day, like 4 or 5 times, you hear all these scary news. You also have a lot of things on a plate, right? There's so much of fear within you also. The reality is also there, and then you hear this, you hear that. It's really overwhelming. It's really overwhelming. It's not just Abelardo. This is with all of us. All of us. In fact, this happened, to me, the earlier times, many times, that there's so much of things happening around me, and then I have to console many other people simultaneously, knowing that inside me I have no energy, right? And then I see the other person also no energy, right? And then, okay, no energy and still talking. Okay, this is what is bound to happen. Let us not, okay, let us acknowledge. The first thing is acknowledge who you are. Don't be afraid to acknowledge who you are. Don't think that, okay, Geshe-la said that this is a weakness, so it's because of self-centered attitude, self-grasping ignorance. Then okay, that's true. So then then we feel ashamed of so much of self-centered attitude. No, don't be ashamed. Who we are, just acknowledge that. The first step, finally, what is important is not that you are bad or you are good. This is not the important thing. What is the important thing is that we should progress. We should progress. This is important. If you're already like 80% pure, you have only 20% purity left. 80% pure is amazing. Ordinary people will say that you are a divine. But there's somebody who is just 20% pure, 80% impure. Imagine that this person who is just 20% pure, the person realizes that I'm 80% impure, defiled. With this realization, person putting effort to improve. So every day is a progress of like 0.1. 0.1 improvement is happening. Whereas 80% pure remains static. Okay, I'm so pure, everybody is praising me, everybody is seeing me as a god, everybody is worshipping me. Does not improve any further. I would personally say, this person who is 20% pure and progressing, this is far better than the 80% pure person who is not improving any further. So improvement is precious. Who you are, whether you're 80% impure, 30% impure, 40% impure, this is secondary. What is important is your improvement, the progress. That is precious. Progress, anybody can bring progress. Anybody. It's not that only those people who have the 80% purity, they can bring progress. Those who are like 20% pure, they cannot progress. This is not the reality. Progress-wise, anybody can bring the progress. Perhaps from 20% to bring the progress is easier. From 80% to the 100% progress, for example, let's say to jump somebody who cannot jump even 1 foot. But the person should not be like, the 80 plus, right? 80 plus person, you cannot make the person to jump like from 1 foot to 4 feet. Don't expect that. So like young people, like somebody who's in the age 20s, if the person can jump only 1 foot, 1 foot high, then they'll say to teach that person, to make the person jump like 2 feet, 3 feet. That is easier. When the person reaches 4 feet, then from the 4 feet, then it's not like 4 feet, 5 feet. No. From 4 feet, 1 inch. 4 feet, 2 inch. You're getting it? So from the very gross, progress is easier. On the advanced level, progress is slower. Keep this in mind. So those people who are more defiled, the tendency for the person to undergo progress, if the person puts effort, the tendency is much more, the chance is much more. So therefore, the point is that anybody, it's not about, what is your degree of the purity. That is secondary. More important is whether you're improving, whether you're progressing, whether gade, para gade is happening. If that is happening, you are a spiritual practitioner. If that is not happening, no matter where you are not a spiritual practitioner. So this gade can happen to everybody. Anybody can do it. Even if somebody is like 90% impure, this person can follow the gade. So therefore, sometimes there are stories with all the traditions, Buddhism, where the saints, they see somebody who claims to be a great practitioner and somebody who is like, who's being looked down upon by the community as a burglar or as a robber or as a prostitute, whatever. And then where in the eyes of the realized being, you can see that this person, the thinking is improving, whereas the other person thinking is stagnant. So the spiritual realized person, say in the final judgment, would say that this person who's being looked down upon is the real spiritual practitioner, as opposed to a person who claims to be a practitioner, Dharma practitioner. So these stories are there. I don't want to go too much into this. These stories are there from all traditions, from the Buddhist tradition, Jain tradition, Hindu tradition, I'm sure from the Islamic traditions as well, then the Christianity, Judaism, Baha'i, for all traditions. I'm sure there are these stories there. Okay, so the important thing is the progress. So Abelardo, the point is that we have to, first of all, how to progress. Again, the next thing you will surely ask me, how? So for that, the first thing that we do is scan ourselves so well. And this person from Florida, who made Abelardo very agitated, right? You even did not ask me, how are you, right? So this person who made you agitated, this person very kind in helping you to take the first step. What's the first step? First step is scan your mind. Scan your mind to see what is the level of your mind. What is the degree of the spiritual journey? What is the degree of the spiritual progress within you? That should be done. Scanning it very objectively. Objectively scan it, and whatever you find, don't worry. If it is like just 10% maturity, 5% maturity, 20% maturity, it doesn't matter, don't worry. Just identify that as it is. And then try to work on, have two things. One is the blueprint. Blueprint wise, the whole Dharma, the 5 paths, 6 perfections, so forth, just have all the blueprints, and then with the taking steps, putting the bricks, put the bricks one by one. Put the bricks one by one. Don't be too ambitious to put all the bricks together. Put the bricks one by one. Blueprint, have all the blueprints together. But the bricks, put bricks one at a time. Don't put all the bricks together. Practice, be very consistent, be very realistic. As long as you realize that you are putting the bricks, you are putting effort, that some degree of your anger subsides, some degree of agitation subsides. When you see that, you are the best judge. You are the best judge. Okay, till something manifests, something say the cumulative, it becomes quite cumulative, quite cumulatively evident. Till that point, other people will not notice the change in you. But you can see the change within you. Okay, so that's very important. Take the actual practice, but take steps. Do one at a time. Do one at a time. When you succeed in this, and then do the second one. Don't say that, I'm going to say the general bodhicitta within 1 month, then next month I'll go for the wisdom of emptiness, then next month I'll go for tantra, and then next month Buddhahood. Right? Let us not make such a plan. Be very realistic. Take step one at a time. Yeah. Good. And then what is important is be in a Sangha community. This is very important. Be in a Sangha community. Be in a Sangha community means that now is a digital world. It's a digital world. Say, even your talk, you're talking, and then, for example, like this class, you're meeting with so many people, right? So then, create some kind of Sangha, not necessarily monks and nuns. Monks and nuns, best. If not, like this group, it's fine. Where like-minded people who are interested in spiritual growth. You try to be with those people more. Email, WhatsApp, Instagram, whatever, around these people more. And then other people are there who are outside this, and they say your mind is being charged, positively charged by being in such group. Positive charge. And then when somebody says, Abelardo, I have this problem, this coronavirus now coming, and then your mind is at ease because your mind is fully charged positively. And then it will keep deflating, don't worry. It'll keep, what is the English word? The battery slowly dies. Don't worry, again recharge it. Again come again in this kind of group. It'll be charged. And then practice speaking on a daily basis. In fact, it requires lots of factors. One is this community group. This is so precious. Number 2 is on a daily basis, have some practice, like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, some practice on a daily basis of breathing meditation, compassion practice, emptiness practice, on a daily basis. And some readings like 1 page reading every day. Reading of the Dharma book, for example, like this book is so good. The Blaze of Non-Dual Bodhicitta. This is so good book. You can read, don't read like 10, 20 pages a day. If you do that, this is a heavily loaded book. The material is so heavy, and you will not notice that next day or third day for sure you said, okay, I have to read 1 page, and then you just see it. Inside you'll feel heaviness. You'll say, okay, I'll do that for 5 minutes, and this 5 minutes will never come. You're getting it? So just read 1 page. This is good enough. Even if you like to read more, don't do it. Just read 1 page from this, and then the next day you feel like reading it, because the excitement you left from yesterday. You want to continue it, and then you want to read even more. No, just read 1 page and leave it there. Put a mark there, and the next day again the excitement is there. The excitement will keep you going, and then it will become a habit. Once it becomes a habit, you read 10 pages, no problem. Okay, so Abelardo, thank you for the very good question, extremely practical question. Thank you so much. Okay, we'll stop here. Yes.
There's one question from Tenzin Dormala. If you have time, can you take that?
Okay. Yes. Yes.
She's having trouble turning her video on. So
yes.
Dormala, go ahead, please.
Okay, Geshe-la, thank you for the class. I have a question regarding developing compassion and love towards our enemies. And what suggestion can you give if person doesn't really have any like real enemies? I know that we can relate to other bad people like terrorists and any others, but in this case, my self-centered attitude is not easily triggered because it is not related to me directly. Also, when I do the bodhicitta practice, I replace enemies by people who behaved unpleasantly to me, like, for example, like a shopkeeper who was rude. But in all of this situation, it is quite difficult for me to trigger my self-centered attitude using such examples.
Okay. So what is your question? How do you do it?
My question is, what suggestion can you give? Like, if I don't have an enemy, I cannot bring it in my bodhicitta practice or in my analytical meditation. So I relate. I use like other examples, but in those examples, my self-centered attitude is very hard to trigger it.
Okay. So what is your question? How to trigger the self-centered attitude?
Yes, yes.
How to trigger the self-centered attitude? This question. Okay. 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 What should I do then? Okay. Is there any moment when you feel sad?
Yes, yes, of course.
Okay. So they say agitation is a very gross form where the self-centered attitude is operating. Then the sadness is another form where who is feeling sad? You or your mother?
Me.
You. Okay. So when you feel sad, the sadness and irritation is different.
Mm-hmm.
When the mother feels sad, the children can, most likely the children, very sensible children, they will empathize. When the mother feels irritated, the children will equally feel anger towards the mother. You're getting it? There's a difference between irritation and sadness. Okay. When the sadness happens, the self-centered attitude is operating on a subtler level. Okay. Mm-hmm. So, say any situation. For example, will you be happy to find a diamond pricking your feet? Will you feel sad or will you feel happy?
Happy.
Happy, not sad, right? Okay. Yeah. So when you see the other person who makes you sad, when you realize that this person is like a diamond, then this sadness disappears. So this sadness clearly is the same episode. The person mistreating you, or say the person mistreating you and making you sad, or the situation making you sad, the person making you sad. So it's the same incident. One moment it makes you sad, other moment it makes you happy. You're getting it? To realize that, okay, now look, I become sad, because this means that the self-centered attitude is acting on me to make me sad. The moment I think about how precious the other person is, this sadness disappears. It's amazing. So this self-centered attitude in a very subtle form is harming me. So I should keep reflecting on the good things which will stop me from feeling sad, which will stop me from, say, the self-centered attitude operating on me on a subtle level, and which is indicated by my sadness disappearing. You getting it? Okay, this says, they say where in some, yes, there are some people from your previous karmic practice or for whatever reasons, there's the anger towards somebody, the manifest anger doesn't really happen. When this doesn't happen, then think about the subtler version, which is sadness. Good?
Okay.
Welcome. Okay, Alhamdulillah.
Hello, Dipeshla, can you hear me?
Yes, Ladullah, please go ahead.
Okay, shall we begin?
Yep.
Additional dedication prayers. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good. All powerful, Chenrizik Tenzin Gyatso, please remain until samsara ends. Just as the brave Manjushri and Samantha Batra too realize things as they are, also I dedicate all these merits in the best way that I may follow the perfect example. I dedicate all these roots of virtue with the dedication placed as the best by all the Buddhas who appeared in the 3 times so that I may perform the noble Bodhisattva's deeds. Chanchu sem chorim poche ma ke pana ke gyurche ke wa nya pa me pa ya kone kong du pe varsho. May the supreme bodhicitta that has not arisen arise and grow, and that which has arisen not diminish but increase forevermore. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. Due to the merits of these virtuous actions, may I quickly attain the state of a Guru Buddha and lead all beings without exception into that enlightened state. I dedicate the merit thus gathered towards the realization of the deeds and the prayers of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 3 times and to the upholding of the Dharma of teaching and realization. May I, in all life, through the force of this merit, never separate from the 4 wheels of the Mahayana vehicle and accomplish all the stages of the path, renunciation, bodhicitta, perfect view, and the 2 stages. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind to full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. I go for refuge to the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddhahood in my heart. By the power of practicing and supplicating to you, may all be free from sickness, poverty, and conflicts, and may Dharma and the auspiciousness proliferate in all the places where we abide. The path of union of emptiness and compassion is lucidly explained by the protector of both the Dharma and the beings of the land of snows. You are the lotus holder Tenzin Gyatso. We supplicate you that your wishes are fulfilled spontaneously. May the operations of evil thoughts and deeds, of the negative forces of humans and non-humans who harbor malice through perverted prayers against the teachings of the Buddhas, be totally vanquished through the power of the truth of the 3 jewels. In all my lives, never separated from perfect gurus, may I enjoy the magnificent Dharma by completing the qualities of the stages and the paths. May I quickly attain the state of Vajradhara. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by Arya Manjushri and be able to uphold the Dharma in general and the teachings on dependent origination in particular, even at the cost of my life. Tayatha gate gate paragate parasamgate bodhi swaha Tayatha om gate gate paragate parasamgate bodhi swaha om gate gate paragate
tam gati bodhi swaha.